We are often told that if you simply put your head down and work hard, success will follow. But for a young boy named Mohan and his father, waking up long before sunrise to trek into the forest was a daily reality that never seemed to lead to a better life. Every single day, they chopped raw firewood, gathered it into massive bundles, and hauled it to the village market. It was backbreaking, exhausting labor, and the few coins they earned barely kept their family fed. But one morning at the market, Mohan noticed a local shop selling finished wooden tables and chairs. Customers were happily handing over stacks of cash for them, amounts his father would have to work months to earn by selling raw firewood. This diagram illustrates value addition. A single raw log equals 1 coin, but apply human vision, like this chair blueprint, and its value multiplies. An old carpenter confirmed this truth. Wood reveals its true price when transformed. Shaping wood creates far more value than carrying it. On the long walk home, Mohan couldn't stop thinking about the gap between those coins. He realized that his father's strength could only carry so much wood, but a craftsman's skill could multiply the worth of a single log without needing to cut down an entire forest. He saw that raw physical effort provides a living, but applying a new idea to that same effort creates a business. Mohan stopped being a passive observer. The very next day, he approached that same elderly carpenter and began an apprenticeship, determined to acquire the technical skills he had seen in the market. It didn't happen overnight. He started by holding the tools. Slowly, he learned how to cut, sand, and shape the wood. This was the slow, necessary process of training his hands to execute what he now understood in his head. Months later, he finished his very first piece, a small wooden stool. He took it to the market, and almost immediately, a customer bought it. For the first time, he held more money from one small stool than he usually earned from hauling logs. That first sale proved that his new skills could multiply the value of the same wood. It was the first time he earned more by thinking, rather than just straining his back. Mohan started building furniture every evening. Demand for his work grew, but he quickly hit a wall. No matter how fast he worked, he still only had 2 hands, and there were only so many hours in a day to fulfill the growing orders. This diagram shows Mohan as a single central node. Operating alone, his capacity hits a limit. While others saw unemployed youth, Mohan saw a chance to share knowledge. By teaching skills, he removed his bottleneck, expanding the system's capacity into a growing enterprise. That small group formed a local workshop. Soon, the workshop evolved into a bustling factory, pulling in massive orders from merchants in distant cities who heard of the quality coming from Mohan's village. A major merchant offered to sell his products across the state, but Mohan refused to sacrifice his standards for speed. He focused on strengthening his team's abilities first, using quality as the foundation for his expansion. He learned that true scale comes from teaching a community to build a vision alongside you, rather than carrying the weight on your own shoulders. Years later, that success led Mohan back to where it all started. He was invited to his village school as a guest of honor, standing before a room full of students who knew him only as a wealthy industrialist. To ground himself, Mohan looked at his old, rotting woodcutter's cart, a relic he kept to remind himself of the years spent just trying to survive. One of the students asked the question on everyone's mind: how did he build such an empire, starting with nothing but a pile of wood? Mohan told them that 2 people can walk into the same forest. One sees firewood. The other sees a finished product waiting to be carved. Their results grow directly from what they chose to look for in those trees. Everything he built, the factory, the machines, and the jobs for hundreds of families, grew from that first decision to look at a log and see something more than fuel for a fire. True growth is blocked by a narrow perspective. Once you see the opportunity in a raw material, the lack of money or tools becomes a temporary hurdle rather than a permanent dead end. The scale of your life is determined by how much value you decide to create. Success begins in the mind, not in the pocket.